Namaste everyone, and welcome back to The Way Om Yoga. My name is Sarah and I'm going to be your instructor for this class. So today we're going to be focusing on some yoga conditioning, some yoga-ish circuit training that I do in my own personal practice. So mainly what we're going to be focusing on is abdominal strength, so mainly the anterior side of the abdominal wall. We're going to get into the obliques a little bit, and then we're also going to focus a little bit on the posterior side of the body, so mainly in the glute muscles as well. And you may notice a lot of these postures are really good preparatory practices for more advanced postures like arm balances and inversions. So I'll kind of talk you through that a little bit as well. But to get us started, I want us to start off with 2 rounds of half sun salutations. So we'll meet at the front of the mat to start. And actually, before we go any further here, if you happen to have like a set of sliders, like I just have these like Nike ones that you can use on carpet or on hardwood floor, you will need a surface where you can kind of glide your feet. So if you have like a thick pair of socks, or if you have like some hand towels that you can use, I often use just a really thick yoga blanket if I don't have these. I've also heard that if you're working with carpet, I've never tried this personally before, but you can give it a go. I've heard using paper plates can work on carpet. So if you try that, let me know in the comments if that worked for you. But anyway, you're gonna need something for your feet to glide on in just a moment. So other than that, these are the only 2 props that you'll need here. So I'm gonna just set that off to the side. But if you're ready and you found your props, let's go ahead and meet at the front of the mat. And we're just gonna go through a couple rounds of half sun salutations just to get us a little bit warmed up, okay? So starting in Tadasana, mountain pose, on your next inhalation, we're gonna sweep both arms up. Exhale, fold you forward at the waist. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold you back over. Inhale, we'll reach up to standing. Exhale, hands come together at heart center. Let's do that one more time. On your next inhalation, we'll rise up. Exhale, we'll hinge forward at the waist. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold you back over. Inhale, we'll reach back up to standing. Exhale, Tadasana. Let's just do one more just for good measure. On your next inhalation, let's sweep up to standing. Exhale, fold you back over. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we'll root to rise up. Exhale, hands come at heart center. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move on. So again, this is like a circuit. So I call it yoga-ish because, you know, normally we wouldn't do yoga like this, but this is more of a conditioning class, okay? So if you have those sliders nearby, go ahead and grab those. And if you want, you can go ahead and watch me first. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold my yoga mat in half just to clear off some space. And this is also extra cushion and support for my wrist here. I'm gonna take my 2 gliders, sliders, whatever I'm working with. I'm gonna place them at the end of my mat. And I'm gonna start out first in this kind of like crouched position. And then I'm gonna make my way into plank pose here, okay? And then from plank pose, on my next inhalation, I'm gonna bring my right knee in the direction of my left tricep here. So I'm crossing over my body. And then I'll bring it back into plank pose. On my next inhale, I'm gonna bring my left knee to right tricep. Back into plank, okay? So it's kind of like mountain climbers. And then this is a really good preparatory pose for like a twisted flying crow. So Ekapada Kundanyasana 1. I know that's a mouthful. Maybe we'll have like a whole video where I break down how to do that pose in the future. But this is a really good preparatory pose for integrating that spinal rotation, that core strength that you need while being, you know, supporting yourself on the wrist there. So if that's something you're working toward, that's a really good way to integrate all of those movements without having to worry about balancing. This is also really good for the core. So if you're with me, go ahead and get on your gliders here, your socks, whatever you're working with, your paper plates if you have them. And then from here, let's go ahead and come into plank pose to start. Inhale, we'll cross that right knee in the direction of the left tricep. We'll come back into plank. Inhale, opposite knee, opposite tricep. Good. Cross over. Cross over. Right knee, left knee. We're just gonna do 2 more, friends. Right knee, left knee, right knee, and left knee. Ooh, goodness. Okay, let's come back to that crouch position. You can set your sliders off to the side. So as you can see, you don't need to do very many for them to be effective. And my recommendation to you, if you are using this as like a warm-up or as just circuit training for your workout, I would do at least 2, but no more than 5 rounds of all of these sequences together, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and unfold the mat again, because we'll need this for our next posture. So for this next pose, we'll be on our back, which is nice. We're gonna kind of give the wrist a break here. What I love about this next pose, I've done this in a Kundalini class. I haven't done much Kundalini, certainly not enough to teach it, but I don't know, I just remembered this pose from a Kundalini class I had taken, and I loved the sensation I felt in the anterior side of my abdominal wall. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you what we did. So on your next inhalation, you're gonna draw the right knee in towards your chest, and at the same time, we're gonna bring that left arm and extend it back behind us. And then nice and slow and controlled, we'll lower the left arm, we'll lower the left foot, or sorry, the right foot in this case, down on the ground. Hi, Pickle. Everybody, this is my dog, Pickle. She's a red heeler, and anytime I get on the ground, I love you too. I love you too. Yes. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna do yoga now, okay? We're gonna do yoga, okay? And then from here, friends, on your next inhalation, you're gonna bring that left knee in towards your core, and then that right arm comes up and back behind you. And then we'll, again, slow and control, lower. You can flex or point that foot too. Good, and then we'll lower it back down. And you might start to feel this in the front of the body. And if you want to put that, free hand to your core to feel that activation. And again, it seems like such a simple move. It almost looks like Pilates to me a little bit when I do this. But if you're doing it right, if you're doing it slow and controlled, you'll definitely feel this in the front of the body. We'll do a few more like this. Another thing I like about this is that you're like not keeping your head and neck off the ground. So oftentimes like I'll do crunches or something like that, and I feel like I'm just getting like a neck workout. So this is really nice. Good. I've honestly kind of lost count, but let's go ahead and just do one more on the right side. Good. Well done, friends. If you'd like, you can hug those knees in towards your chest, and you can rock side to side here. Excellent, excellent. In just a moment, we're gonna meet in tabletop pose, okay? So you can rock forward and back until you're seated, or if you wanna just kind of like roll onto one side of the body and come up and press yourselves up to seated, you can do that as well. All right, so in just a moment here, we're coming into tabletop, getting into the glutes here. So starting off in tabletop, so hands are shoulder distance apart, knees are about hip distance apart. And we're gonna just do like, kind of like some donkey kicks here. So getting into the posterior side of the body, drawing that navel in towards the spine here. On your next inhalation, I'm gonna flex my right foot, and I'm gonna bring my right foot up towards the ceiling here. And that's our 1 and 2. And again, like nothing about this is too crazy or too difficult, but when done with intention, when done with control, it can be very effective. Good. Inhale. And we'll just do a couple more. Last 2. And just for a moment, let's just come off the wrist for a second. You can sit back on the heels before we get the other side. So again, this is really good. I find just activating the back side of the body is really good for poses like locust pose or bow pose, when we're in that position where the legs are extended, right? Where we need to be a little bit more mobile in that hip flexor, but we're also strengthening the back side of the body as well, okay? All right, friends, let's get back into it. Let's come into our tabletop pose, this time with the left, starting with the left foot here. And then on your next inhalation, we'll kick the left leg back and set it down and back. Make sure you're breathing through this, friends. I forgot to coach you on that at the beginning, but just nice steady inhales and exhales will get you through this yoga circuit. Got about 5 more here, friends. Slow and controlled. All right, last 2. All right, take a second here. If you want to take child's pose, you are more than welcome, or you can just simply sit back for a moment, get off those wrists. If you want to kind of roll out the wrists, shake them out a little bit. All right. Take a little breather here, and while you're doing that, I am going to show you the next pose we're going to get into here. So again, having those sliders will definitely be handy, and this is just something, again, very simple, but I find very effective for working on my adductors. So mainly working on that inner thigh engagement that I talk about a lot in my sun salutation videos. And this is also really good for just the outer hip, the outer glute area as well, okay? So I have both of my sliders underneath my heels, so go ahead and set those there if you have them. And then I'm gonna just put my weight back into the palms of my hands here. And then using the strength of my core, also using the strength of my inner thighs, outer hips, outer glutes, I'm gonna very just carefully, and it doesn't have to be very far. It's like you're kind of coming into a little bit of a straddle pose and just hugging those in, and you'll feel this. You don't have to go very far. I'm feeling this in the front of my core. I'm feeling this also in my outer hip here as well. Definitely feeling this as I'm hugging in towards midline, especially those inner thighs. And I'm just tenting up on my fingertips. You can kind of bring your arms out wide if you need to, or just directly behind you is fine. So as long as you're feeling this core integration. Good. Let's just go for 2 more. I'm definitely feeling it. Nice steady inhales and exhales. Take a breather here, friends. If you need to take like some windshield wipers in those legs, you are more than welcome to take that as well. Okay, I got 1 more pose here for you, and then I'll turn it over to you to integrate all of these moves into your own circuit at home. But for this one, just for the sake of demonstration, you won't necessarily need to do this at home, but I'm gonna just fold my mat in half just so you can see me better in the camera and you have a better angle, okay? So again, once again, we're gonna use those sliders here, and we're gonna place them out in front of us underneath the heels. So you're not gonna probably go very far, and that's okay. So this is a really good preparation for Tolasana, so pendant pose. So working on, let's see if I can show you here, sitting back into the hands and then bringing the heels back, drawing them back towards the back wall, and eventually balancing here like so. So we're not gonna do that, but we're gonna integrate that movement with the use of our sliders and get that core activation and everything that we're gonna need to set ourselves up for that pose, okay? But again, we're just doing conditioning here today. So your feet are directly out in front of you. And what I'm gonna have you do, friends, I'm gonna have you shift your weight back. You're gonna drag your heels back. You're gonna round through the spine and then come back forward. And then once again, as you inhale, start to curl in, bringing those hips back, dragging the feet along with you. We're only going for 5, don't worry. This is 3. I'm definitely feeling tight from this one because I've been practicing it all week. So I'm not gonna go very far either, friends. Let's do 1 more, okay? Oh goodness. set it back. Once again, if you just kind of want to lean back and just stretch here, bringing those hips side to side, taking a set of windshield wipers. So I highly recommend, if you're doing this at home, if you're doing like, you know, a set of 2 or 5 of this complete circuit, that you take breaks in between, so anywhere between like 30 seconds to a minute before you get the other side again. I highly recommend that. So yeah, this is just kind of like my go-to, what I do when I just really want to focus on developing core strength, when I want to focus more on my back side of the body, getting that posterior chain integration in my practice. And again, these are just really fun kind of preparatory poses for those of you that are looking to play around with Ekapada Kundinyasana or Tolasana. So I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed this. Go put on a playlist or something, and yeah, just kind of run through this again at your own leisure. Okay guys, I'm gonna leave you with that. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I'd love to hear your feedback about this class, and until next time, namaste, bye.